Generic Joe is debuting with the Tigerfish, because today we're going to do our very first G.I. Joe game, and that game is G.I. Joe, a real American hero for your NES, and it looks like the G.I. Joe crew are all ready for their photo shoot. Say cheese! Let's go ahead and take G.I. Joe, let's pop it in my NES and see how it holds up today. Let's go to the game. Cheese! G.I. Joe, a real American hero, was published by Taxan and carries a copyright year of 1990. It is based on the late 80s version of the toy line, coming out as the toy line was losing popularity, most likely because the same kids who used to play with G.I. Joe were now spending more time with the NES, making this game a little bit ironic. And since this game is not based on the more popular version of the toy line, which came out a few years earlier, that means some of the more popular characters like Flint, Shipwreck, Lady J, Zartan, and the Baroness have been left out in favor of some lesser known characters such as Captain Gridiron, Blizzard, Raptor, Voltar, and Road Pig. This also means that Cobra Commander is in his spacesuit style outfit, and Destro now has a gold helmet instead of the original silver. The manual opens with the following. The G.I. Joe team is really mad, and they're not going to take it anymore. The Cobra organization has been terrorizing the peace-loving people of the world for decades with no end in sight. It's time to defeat this group of thugs and rid the world of their menace forever. You will be fighting through 6 levels, each with 3 sections, not counting boss encounters. In each level, you will be in control of 3 members of the G.I. Joe team, 1 chosen for you by General Hawk, and 2 more which you could choose before each level. Now go ahead, complete your mission if you can, and remember, Yo Joe. Okay, so this whole time G.I. Joe was just kind of playing with Cobra, but now they're finally going to take them seriously? I guess someone told them that their cartoon was about to get canceled. G.I. Joe is a platformer for 1 player only with 1 standard mode of difficulty. For the basic controls, use a D-pad to move and aim your weapon in 4 directions, B to attack, and A to jump. When you jump on some walls with rough edges, you can cling to them. You can also jump down the level by pressing down and jump. Each character has a projectile weapon, usually a gun, with a basic hand weapon, like a fist or sword. Some enemies are actually easier to defeat with your fist. Pressing the select button switches between your projectile weapon, which uses up ammo, except for Snake Eyes, and your hand weapon. When you use your hand weapon, pressing up and B will allow you to throw grenades from an unlimited supply, which are mostly useful against flying enemies. At the beginning of each level, you'll be assigned a squad leader and allowed to pick 2 other Joes to take into battle. Each Joe has different strengths and weaknesses. You can switch between Joes you have selected at any time during a level by pressing the start button, which is very helpful when you are low on health or want a particular Joe to face a certain enemy or reach a certain area. The game has 5 levels separated into 3 sections each and a final level. Each section basically allows you freedom to move anywhere, although there is a time limit. Each section also has a boss to face at the end. The main goal of each level is to infiltrate and destroy one of Cobra's bases, with one of the sections of each level having you place explosives on a certain number of check marks before exiting the base. Sometimes you will come across one of 3 Cobra vehicles you can enter and use by standing by them and pressing down. Each vehicle has a life bar that cannot be refilled. You can permanently leave the vehicle by pressing the select button, or you will be forced out of the vehicle if the life bar gets fully depleted. The first vehicle is the Cobra Buzz Bore. It can attach to walls and ceilings. Pressing A makes it do a small hop, and holding B sends out spiral bullets. The Interrogator is a 1-man helicopter. Holding A increases your altitude, and holding B fires spreading bullets. The Pogo jumps when you press A and fires groups of 9 bullets when you press B. Throughout the game, you will find many power-ups, including ammo that will get you 5 more shots, flashing ammo that will get you 30 more shots, K-rations that will fill a small portion of your life bar, flashing K-rations that will fill your entire life bar, a pistol, collecting 4 of these will power up your character's weapon level, a bulletproof vest which will make you invincible for about 5 seconds, and chevrons that increase the length of your life bar, although the characters can reach a maximum length at some point. After you die or complete an entire level or beat Cobra Commander, you will be given a password that will not only let you pick up where you left off, but will also save if you increased your life bar with chevrons or your weapon if you upgraded it at least 1 full level. After beating the game, you can start a 2nd and 3rd quest that will only allow you to pick 1 other Joe per level. You will also face tougher enemies and take more damage. Defeating the game a 3rd time will add a couple screens to the ending scene. Graphically speaking, even though the game has some typical NES flickering, overall I thought the game looked pretty nice and liked the profiles and small cutscenes in between missions. The sound and music were also very solid. Family friendly wise, the game would most likely get an E10 uprating for animated violence if it was released today. At the time of my research on eBay, including shipping, loose copies were going for $35 to $55. Complete copies were going for $118 to $185. So what did I think of G.I. Joe? This game is amazing and a blast to play. The controls are very solid and I never felt like they caused me to lose a life. The levels are very well designed and I like the freedom to explore them. The game also has some fun boss fights, including some easy ones mixed in with some tough ones, which I find refreshing. I also like the simple password setup and level up system. You could try to simply just make it through the game, but you get nicely rewarded for switching Joes to get various power-ups and for completing a mission without losing a guy. And the difficulty was just right for me. All in all, there's a lot to praise in G.I. Joe and very little to complain about. So where am I going to rank G.I. Joe? Really high, and probably higher than most. I'm looking in the top 5. I'm not going to put it over Super Mario Bros. At 2, but surprisingly, I enjoyed G.I. Joe more than Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! At 3. So out of the 49 games I've now ranked on the NES, G.I. Joe is setting up camp at the 3 position. G.I. Joe, a real American hero, is a true hidden gem on the NES. At least that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, please click like and subscribe, follow me both on Facebook and Twitter, and check out some of my many other videos covering retro video games, toys, mini arcades, plug and plays, and more. At this time, I'd like to thank Dude Michael from the Two Dudes in the NES podcast for supporting the show on Patreon. Thank you, dude. You too can help support the show, gain access to exclusive content, and be able to vote on future games I review by signing up at patreon.com/NosForGamer. Thank you for giving me a little part of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the next episode of the NosForGamer. Take care, and remember, knowing is half the battle.